I have the best advice for women in business. Get your fucking ass up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days. You have to get your fucking ass up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days.
That's so true.
You have to surround yourself with people that want to work. Have a good work environment where everyone loves what they do because you have one life. No toxic work environments, and show up and do the work.
Hi, my name is Vuyelwethu and welcome to episode 2 of the Ruacheli Rising podcast. This is our episode where we discuss the fact that hard work does not always equate to success, and this part 1 is called the generational grind. I was raised by my grandmother. My grandmother started working at a very tender age, and she was taken out of school in the 3rd grade. She was told that she needed to go and work. She must have been around 10 years old, and they lived on a farm in which they stayed in exchange for working for the family that owned the farm. And so from as far back as I could remember, my grandmother always worked, whether it was around the house or it was going to her job. My mother as well was raised on these ethics of like working, and I think, my mother worked until she couldn't work anymore because she suffered from chronic depression, which I think, is just another example of how when you actually are suffering from mental illnesses that disable you from working and you are poor, there isn't really much to fall back on. So as I also engaged in working after I matriculated, there were certain results that I expected that I didn't necessarily get. Typically you're told you need to work this hard, you need to put in this much effort, and then, you'll get a good paying job, and you buy a car, and then you buy a house, and then you have a happy little family. But that's not necessarily how life goes. Life takes its own course, and resources like money, privilege, and knowing the right people in the right places most certainly helps, and I think that most of us continue to actually push through and work hard, even if, the chances of success, especially financial success, are very slim. And so I think this was also behind me choosing to be a freelancer, as somebody who actually does not benefit much from working hard. And I think especially like being a Black woman, a lot is actually stacked against you, And I also do have my own issues with anxiety, meaning that, a lot of the days that I take off are not because I'm physically sick, and a lot of the time that I need to be well and to be okay wouldn't necessarily fit in with a 9-to-5 schedule. And I also have children whom, I would love to spend a lot of time with, So I think there are sort of times where it feels like I am not working hard enough, and I think I really had to look into that and look into why, say, I feel like I'm not working as hard as I should, and I think sometimes that just obviously just comes from the pressure of everything, the pressure of needing to pay bills, but there's also like an external pressure that comes from being on social media, an external pressure that maybe sees other people whom I've worked with or whom I'm friends with essentially getting to the next level, in their career. And I'm not saying that they're more privileged than me or whatever, but I'm just saying that at times you are made to feel like it's your personal fault that you are not succeeding or you are not getting a job. You've been looking for a job for a long time. it's very easy to internalize all of that, you know. So I think that's why I really started thinking about, you know, meritocracy, and I started thinking about, you know, what it means in context of South Africa, when from a young age it's being drilled into us that if you work hard you are going to get these types of rewards. And you see people pushing very hard and getting their matric certificate, and the world that they've been prepared for is nothing like the world they're actually in and exist within, you know. So there isn't a lot of extensive research on the idea of meritocracy and how and whether it's a concept that would work, you know, in South Africa and how much it's being applied. But I did find a paper by Nicholas Alozi from Arizona State University, and it's titled The Meritocracy Conundrum in Sub-Saharan Africa. In this paper, he defines meritocracy as a social system in which people attain positions of power based on their talents, abilities, and performance, rather than the myriad of other factors typically grouped as particularism, including money, family connections, nepotism, tribalism, ethnicity, regionalism, religiosity, party loyalty, and political clientelism. Now, just based on this definition of meritocracy, I think we are often pushed the idea that, you know, from the time you're in grade 1, when you are being asked, what do you want to be when you grow up, you know, like, you know, that's always been made such a big deal of, you know. I used to say, I want to be a journalist, you know, and like I'm barely even a writer. That was always my sort of dream career. But I think I've also seen it in having my own kids and in just, you know, how I talk to them about their future and how sometimes I put on my expectations on them. But also what I am noticing is just like in terms of how they are taught in school, like in their subjects, like they are taught that, you know, the harder you work, the more results, you know. And so yes, and so that's that for part 1 of the episode. And I'm also going to leave like some links to my references and some of the creators that inspired me to create this video. One of the videos that I actually saw that really got me writing was a video by Kidology, and she did one on why she gave up on the idea of meritocracy, and then another one by Tiffany Ferg, and hers was really just around the concept of laziness, deconstructing laziness and embracing radical rest, you know. And so yes, please don't forget to subscribe so that you can get part 2 of the meritocracy conundrum. Maybe that's what I'm gonna call the series. I'm gonna call it the meritocracy conundrum. And yes, please subscribe, and I don't know what else, you know, it can be done to, like, I don't know, like, comment. Let's get a discussion going. Can you think of things that you were told to work hard for but never really got? What's your experience since you got out of school and, you know, started engaging in the working world? What has that been like? And do you think that you are actually going to achieve your goals? You know, tough questions, but I think these are conversations worth having. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful and productive day. Bye.